Traders, today's special video is going to walk you through the strategy tester on TradingView. Look at my mouse at the bottom of the screen here where it says strategy tester. I hover my mouse over it, strategy tester. Now, as you can see, I have some indicators and strategies on my chart at this time. I'm going to delete them all because I want to start from scratch so you have a really easy to understand sort of walkthrough of how this works. Now, I'm looking at a chart of Tesla right now, and it's on a daily chart. Now, keep in mind that depending on the chart you're looking at and the time interval you're looking at, that's what's going to correspond with the data you get in the strategy tester. So make sure you have the chart and symbol that you want to study, could be Tesla, could be gold, and the time interval that you like to look at or trade at or essentially want to backtest. This is very important. Next up, click the strategy tester. Now, the first thing you should know about the strategy tester is that this is for your strategies, either on TradingView that are built into the platform or something that you code yourself. Now, I'm going to click load strategy. And as you can see here, I'm in technicals and then strategies. Now, here are all of the strategies that I have access to as built-in strategies. And you know that they're a strategy because they have these little down and up arrows with a line. See that? Down arrow, up arrow, down arrow, up arrow. And then, of course, I can effectively just click one of these strategies. I'm going to go ahead and click this momentum strategy. And just like that, it's now been added to my strategy tester. And you can tell right away the strategy tester just looks fundamentally different. It's now filled with data. You've got all the data here right in front of you. And the first thing you'll notice is this great visual, which is showing sort of your equity curve of trading with this strategy on this symbol, on this time interval. On the left here, you can see your starting value. Down here at the bottom is the number, the trades you're on. And over here on the right is going to be your drawdown. So if we click this, we can turn that drawdown off. And these purple shaded bars are measuring your drawdown as well. So now you have the basics, right? Now you know how to load a strategy tester and how to just read it quick and what this curve means. Now, I'm just going to minimize this for a second because it is important that you don't necessarily have to use a preloaded strategy. You can click Pine Editor and code your own. So what you would do is open up Pine Editor, where the proprietary language is PineScript, and you would express your strategy in code. I want to buy here, sell here, buy when this happens, sell when this happens. And when you express that in the Pine Editor, then publish the strategy, you can go to Strategy Tester and see your exact strategy and all of the data behind it, just like this. This is very, very important to understand. Now, we have the strategy tester open here, and I just want to make sure I quickly draw your attention to a few key items. You've got overview, you've got performance, you've got trade analysis, you've got risk performance ratios, and you've got your list of trades. So you've got these different tabs to click to dive into your strategy further to learn more about them. In addition, you can always hover your mouse over any of these tooltips wherever you see them to effectively learn more about what that specific detail means on the strategy tester. Now, before I go any deeper into this, what I want to do is click the drop down here on the Momentum Strategy Report and make sure that you're also familiar with this drop down, because you can add alerts onto the strategy tester right from this drop down, which is really fantastic. And keep in mind, if you're using something like webhooks, or if you're sending these alerts to different areas around the web, whether it's email, chats, groups, applications that execute trades, things like that, this is one area where you can get started with that. You would actually sort of check the webhook URL and you'd get rolling from there. Then the alert hits your webhook URL and you're off to the races. Now we're going to go to settings again and just remind you that you can see here, you have your symbol, Tesla, condition, momentum strategy, open-ended alert, and it's pre-built as well to show you all of the details of that strategy are right here in the message box, meaning when you get that alert, whether it's an email or a notification in your webhook, you can have this alert show you these key message details. Now, in addition to all of this, I want to make sure you know it's very important as well to be aware of the settings button. In fact, maybe I should have even started this entire tutorial with this part of the demonstration, because before you even want to dive into your strategy tester, and before you want to start analyzing your equity curve and your max drawdown, your total trades, you probably want to click settings and make sure it's set up to fit your specific needs. So for example, we've got the momentum strategy and the length is 12. But what if we did a length of 50, right? And of course, it's on this daily chart. Well, it changes everything. It changes the way the strategy is now being run. And this is where it helps to know what the strategy is, and also, of course, the Pine script behind it. So when you do change something like this, you know exactly what is being changed. In addition, properties is really going to be a must-know settings tool. The reason why you want properties to really be addressed and studied by you before you get started with the strategy tester is that all of the inputs here that go into the strategy tester come from this settings menu, then click properties. For example, are you starting with $1 million or are you starting with $5,000, right? This changes everything because now your equity curve is going to be based off of $5,000. So it's very important to make sure that you set this up to represent something realistic to you. Now, you also have base currency. Well, are you trading in the United States with the US dollar? Are you trading in Japan with the JPY? I'm not sure, but that's up to you. But ensure that you select then the base currency of your specific need. Then you also have your order size, contracts, USD, or percentage of equity. Well, this is obviously very important because it's going to depend on how large each order is. So you make sure that you have this specifically typed in the way you want. And of course, it's going to depend on the type of instrument that you are trading as well. Futures, crypto, stock. By default, you could just keep it to one. Pyramiding as well. You could have this essentially, have some pyramiding feature, which is the maximum number of successive entries allowed in the same direction. So if you're buying up, 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 or selling down, 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 you can control that with your pyramiding. Now, in today's modern world, there really isn't that many, brokers that are charging commission, but it still exists. It definitely still exists. As you can see here, we have this cost simulation. And if you are getting charged commission, and you might be in some way, especially if it's specific contracts, it's probably helpful to type in what the commission is because that's going to drastically change your curve because now you're paying money every single time you trade. And look how red this just went, just from that commission just eating into our capital. What if you're doing $1 per? It still just hits us. And actually, that's a really wonderful way to visualize sort of what it means to trade with commission. Now, also keep in mind, you can have your commission as a percentage, USD per contract, USD per order. All of these features are right here for you. If you scroll down, you've got even more that you can access. Verify price for limit orders. This is very important, as well as slippage. Also, because essentially slippage and verify price for limit orders are two features that are going to really ensure that when you're back testing, you are sort of telling the strategy tester a specific number of ticks that it should back test in away from the order that it should execute in. Sorry, not away, nearest, closest, on the money to that specific order. It's currently set to 0, so that's by default, but if you want to give it some room for like a little slippage, maybe not every order gets executed perfectly, maybe there's, you can just see that the changes happen right away. Also, you've got margin. So if you are using margin to trade to get bigger positions or exposure, well, you can adjust the margin percentage of each trade. Now, some strategies are going long, some are going short. So you can have this margin for long positions, 100%, margin for short positions, 100%. And as we scroll down here, you can see there's just more and more features that you can access. After order is filled, you can recalculate. You can recalculate on every tick. These are really granular details that are just going to help you backtest in really just the most specific way possible. In addition, you've got these fill order features for using bar magnifier on bar close or using standard OHLC, open, high, low, close. So as you get started, you're going to have all of these features to really get granular and detailed with every single trade you do. And once again, if you don't know what something means, just hover your mouse over the little tooltip and you can quickly learn what it is. Using bar magnifier on historical bars uses more precise lower time frame prices for more realistic results. So that's pretty interesting. This way that if you're using a weekly chart or a daily chart, you can use the bar magnifier to really get into the the lower time frames by the minute, by the hour, to ensure that the trades are happening on those time frames and really as close to the most realistic transaction possible based off of historical data. Then, of course, keep in mind that you've got some features you can toggle on and off as well on your specific strategy tester, which does take me now back to the chart. I think this is very important. So trades on chart. As you can see, there's no trades. Check. Now you see the trades. You got your long and your short entries. The red arrow signifies a short. The blue arrow signifies a long. You've also got these signal labels as well. So what that means is that the signal label is telling you what happened. Now we're using the momentum strategy, so you can see MOMLE. So this is the momentum strategy long entry. Momentum strategy short entry. That's what these arrows mean. They're telling you the strategy you're using and if it was entered long or short, and also the quantity, +2, -2. So this appears to be just trading in twos. But if you don't want to see that, go ahead and check that off. So now you've really got the basics of the strategy tester down, including how to load it up, how to open it, and then how to get into your settings and to toggle specific features. Now, there is one more important thing, which is deep backtesting. Once again, you've got this great tooltip. You can read into it. Deep backtesting is quite important, and it comes with a specific TradingView plan that you have, not necessarily available to all users. And what deep backtesting is going to do for you is give you even more data and more precise data. One of the coolest things about deep backtesting is that if you turn this off, this specific equity curve and this specific strategy tester is being calculated on this chart over time. There's no, it just begins, right? So as we scroll back through the chart, we can see this strategy tester going all throughout history here. And we can see the trades. One at the beginning, 2141. This is the number of trades all the way till we get past 241. Deep backtesting is cool because deep backtesting gives you the capability to actually go to a specific point in time that you want to study and just focus on that specific time. So how cool is this? Look at this. This is now your backtest using the deep backtesting feature for this specific period of time. Now, why is that important? Well, that is important because maybe there are big events or big months you want to study. Great example. I'm recording this video in April. So maybe you only want to run your strategy then last April and see what would have happened. If you believe in some form of seasonality, I guess let's go back to April. So I'll go all the way back to 2023. Maybe there's some sort of seasonality that you're interested, or you just want to see sort of what happened. Then in that case, let's see here. This says that the deep trades only appear in the strategy tester tab and are not shown on the chart. Okay, let's fix this then. So we're going to go here. And we're going to take this to 2024. And always remember that if anything like this does occur, you can effectively just, okay, so I had the dates typed in incorrectly. You can effectively just edit the dates just as I did to ensure that they work for you. So now we've got this strategy tester with this equity curve right in front of us for the month of April, but going back to 2023 and through 2024. I'm going to turn this off and it takes us right back to where we started. Now let's talk about this a little bit. Total P&L. Remember, this is a $5,000 account. Over this time, we made $657 or 13%. Our max drawdown, which means how much money we lost in a single trade, was $137 or 2.5%. We made 244 trades over this time period, and we can see the equity curve over time. And our profitable trades, 33%. So we took, it looks like we won 81 and lost 163. And then our profit factor, 1.956. But keep in mind, even though this looks great, right? We got this, we actually went green and went very green. up 13%. You always want to click buy and hold equity because that just sort of reminds you of what could have happened if you just bought it and held it. And in this case, you can see, if I'm reading this correctly, the buy and hold equity totally dwarfs the strategy tester. Well, that makes total sense. So the buy and hold equity turned that $5,000 into 1.4 million. That's a heck of a long-term buy and hold. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason for that. I'm looking at Tesla. So if you had bought Tesla at the very beginning, of course you'd be crushing it, because look at this. It's a $1 stock, and then today it's all the way up to 264. So the whole point here is that you just absolutely crushed it had you been long Tesla that entire time. Oh, it looks like it's come back down here. So it's about 980,000. Quite the win, though, nevertheless, to go from $1 almost up to a peak here, what looks like $700 per share. So with that being said, it's now important for you to understand a few more quick tips about the strategy tester, such as the capability to go from absolute to percentage. Some people prefer to just work in percentage terms, and well, you just click percent, and now you are visualizing your graph in terms of its percentage terms. Absolute, the dollar returns. If you click performance, well, this is quite important because you have your open P&L here, your net profit, your gross profit, gross loss, commission paid, buy and hold return, max equity run up, max equity drawdown. Now, this is for all trades. This is for long trades. This is for short trades. So this is a very good visual to understand how your trades are performing in the strategy tester based on all of them, long and short, just the long, just the short. Now, you can utilize this to make better decisions. Hey, my long trades in this strategy tester are double my short trades. Of course, it depends. Are we in a bull or bear market? But nevertheless, you can use that to make sort of a next, a consideration about let's focus more on the long and less on the short. Just one way to sort of take this into consideration. And then you have your buy and hold return here, as mentioned. Wow, if you had held Tesla. Very eye-catching, and really just a great visual to compare your strategy just to simple, good old-fashioned buy and hold, by the way. Now, if you go to trade analysis, also very detailed. Think about this like your report card for the strategy tester you're running. And when you click trade analysis, always be sure to scroll down. Just don't forget to scroll down, because there is so much data here. In fact, probably some of the data points you really want to see is what's your largest winning trade? What's your largest losing trade? What's your average losing trade? What's your average P&L? It's all right here for you. And it's pretty key that when you go to trade analysis, remember to scroll down and go through this. And once again, just a quick reminder, this is also organized by all trades, long and short, just long trades, just short trades. So if you're focusing on a specific direction or long and short trades, make sure you always remember all trades are in this column. Just your long trades are in this column. Just your short trades are in this column. And then this is your report card. These are the stats and facts about your all long and short trades connected to this strategy, in this case, momentum strategy report. What's your average P&L as well? Now, your risk performance ratios, well, these are ratios that are meant to tell you sort of how much risk you're taking, how you're trading relative to the market. You've got your Sharpe ratio, your Sortino ratio, your profit factor, and if there's any margin calls for any specific strategy. Of course, a margin call would happen if the strategy is being very, very aggressive. In this case, doesn't appear to be happening, 0, 0, 0. Then we go to list of trades, and this is an incredibly important feature for your strategy tester, because now you get to look at every single trade that's been taken. So these are all of the trades. Watch this. I'm going to scroll down. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. What's so cool about this is Tesla when it was just $1 a share on that chart. We entered long at 146. We exited long at 132. Dang it. Look at that. We lost 10% or 14 cents on that first trade. Cumulative profit lost 14 cents. We had a 2-cent run up. We had a drawdown of 16 cents before we got out. And so this is really nice to go through every trade. And what's so cool about that is, let's see if there's a trade that stands out. So actually, it's pretty interesting. By the way, I know I'm scrolling fast, but look how we started. It was very choppy. This is a momentum strategy. When Tesla first started trading, look how choppy it is here. And as you know, momentum strategies have a hard time in this chop. Look at this, chop, chop, chop. Once the momentum took off, everything changes. In fact, what's so fascinating about this is look at how many trades are going in the chop because it's long, short, trying to find momentum. Condition hit, looking for momentum, no momentum. Sell, short, no momentum. Close it out. You could just see it trying to find the momentum. And when it was finally found right here, you had your first big run. And what's so fantastic is that if you go through your trades, this list of trades, you can actually see that. And what I love about this feature, and I think you will also love too, is let's look for our best trade around this time. Let's see if we can find something that's big. Here you go. This is probably our best trade. $4, 172%. You can actually click this arrow here. Let me actually drag this down. Oh, whoops. That's not what we wanted to do. Okay, it's this was the, well, either way, we'll use this one. 150, it says 58%. I thought we had one that was 140%. I might have just, oh yeah. Okay, let's go back in time here. I'm just looking for some big trades, only looking for green, only looking for high percentages because I want to show you this feature. Let's just stick with this 84% trade. Okay, so watch how cool this is. See this 84% trade? We've got our stats and facts here. We've got our date, our price, entry and exit, date and time. Look at this little bullseye or this little sniper icon. So I want to see when we entered. I click, and it immediately takes me to that on the chart. And you can even see it right here, April 6th. I'm just going to click it again. April 6th. See it pop up. I'm going to click it again. April 6th. I'm going to click it again. April 6th. You get the idea. So this gives you the capability to say, whoa, 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 what is this trade? This trade killed it on this strategy. I got to see how that trade looks. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to click. There it is. Now what's really great is we can zoom into the chart and say to ourselves, okay, so look at this. Had this kind of run here. Then after the run, it pulled back, and that triggered the strategy. An interesting reminder that sometimes these big runs, even though you may think it's taken off, it always is going to pull back. And then you can see here, it really just hit right here and just entered long, and it was off to the races. So this bullseye or sniper icon is really fantastic as you get started with the strategy tester. Now I'm just going to go back to the overview part of the strategy tester and just remind you that this is a wonderful tool to remind you about all of the data, stats, and analytical capabilities that go into trading. In fact, traders who are running automated strategies or back testing or looking for something new are doing this level of data research and analysis. So while you might have your chart open, it's very important to do your level of drawing and technical analysis and fundamental analysis. Always remember that, before you make a trade, or if you want to sort of look into a trade or study a trade, or I should say back test a trade, click the strategy tester and get your hands dirty in this tool so that you can really see a back-tested mathematical model of what happens in trading if you follow specific rules over time or trade the same way over time. And I just want to end with one more thing. Remember that you can open up other strategies as well and code your own. Now we have a community as well, right? So let's see if there's any community strategies that have recently made it. Doesn't look like any recent community strategies have made it here. But the point is that you can have these strategies and then you can have them loaded up in your strategy tester and see how they would have performed. And what's also very important about this as well is that if it's not the strategy you want, click Pine Editor and then express the specific code that you want to see on that specific strategy tester. And then you can see how it would have went. Buy here, sell here. Write that out in PineScript, and it will then be presented to you on the strategy tester to see how you would have performed. So thanks so much for watching. We hope this video helps all the traders out there get started with the strategy tester. And by the way, we have 400 plus videos on our YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and our Help Center has tons of content just for you covering every feature on TradingView. So if you found this video helpful, if you watched the entire thing and learned something new, be sure to check out our YouTube channel and our Help Center where we cover